everybody, it's Annabelle and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing something slightly different. Back in mid-October I got sent some Cattleya backbulb divisions from Nina of Ninja Orchids, who I will link in the description down below. We have a kind of long-standing orchid swap going on, so she sent me these over, and these are some Cattleyas that I was looking for that she had, plus a few extras. So we arranged kind of a swap. Because of the nature of the backbulbs that Nina's going to be sending me, or I believe she's going to be sending me, many of these will be rootless, and I really wanted to show you guys this process because it's super easy to take a backbulb off a Cattleya and send it to a friend and swap, and you can enlarge your collection very easily this way without spending lots of money on orchids. So I really think you only need a few orchid friends, and you all have different orchids, and you can enlarge your collection very quickly with Cattleyas, which is fantastic. So I really wanted to show this process and show how easily you can propagate Cattleyas from backbulb divisions, even if they're rootless. Muffin is helping me unbox, so he may pop up in the video later on. Just going to quickly add that I filmed this quite late at night, and as I'm editing I can notice that there's a lot of flickering caused by the lights that I was filming under, because it arrived very late at night and it was dark. So I'm sorry about that, and if you find it off-putting or disturbing, if you skip ahead to the timestamp which I'll put on screen now, that will be an overview of what's been in this parcel a month or so later. So the first thing I always notice whenever I open up a box from Nina is how excellently everything's packaged and how much care and love goes into the packaging and attention to detail that she puts in. Oh, some amazing pots. She sent me some pots before and she asked if I would like these, and I very, very gratefully accepted because I love the pot sets that she has for self-watering. So white and clean and hard for me to get in the UK at least. Okay, so initially, first little package that I opened is actually an absolute mass of little Cattleya divisions, which I wasn't aware of. So the first orchid that I'm opening up is Cattleya Siamese Doll Kiwi, and this one is one that I've been wanting for a while. I missed the opportunity to get one once and then regretted it so much ever since. Unfortunately, most of the leaves are falling on this, just from the stress of transport. It is rootless, but it has an eye swelling up, which is a fantastic sign, so I think we will be successful with this one. There is always a chance with a rootless division that you could lose it if it doesn't have enough energy stored to push out a new growth and get roots down before it uses up all that energy it has. Cattleyas are very, very easy to propagate this way, so I think we will be all right with most of these. This next one is Laelia purpurata var striata, and I absolutely love it, Laelia purpuratus, and the striata variety is beautiful. It does have a little new growth starting, completely rootless. It's got 5 bulbs though, so there is a good chance. The rule is kind of 3 or more bulbs for a division usually, for there to be enough energy stored for it to make new growth and new roots for you. So this little division is Coilostalis ciliaris, and I do actually have this crossed to Brassivola or Rincolelia digbyana, which is a beautiful, beautiful orchid, so I'm looking forward to having the Coilostalis parent too. The next one up is Rothara yokosuka story, which looks like a epidendrum, pseudo-epidendrum hybrid, potentially, from the picture that Nina sent me. I haven't looked into it too much. Lots of good sized pseudobulbs there and lots of roots. Hopefully they're all alive. Next we have a slightly rootless, Coilostalis ciliaris crossed with Rincolelia digbyana, and this is Nina's one, and Nina's one is fragrant. I do have this one, mine is not fragrant, so I'm super, super excited for this. One new growth starting on that hybrid and the Rothara yokosuka story there. Honestly, I like having different orchids from seedling populations, even if they're quite similar, because I just find it so interesting. They can have different growth patterns, slightly different flower variations, different fragrances, that sort of thing. I find it so fascinating, so I'm happy to have doubles, to be honest, in my collection. Next is an orchid that I'm so excited for. I can't even tell you guys. I've been looking for this orchid for so long. This is Cattleya Sagaric Wax African Beauty, and it's one I've been looking for ages. It's really difficult to find in Europe. And Nina has one and wanted to send me a division, and I'm so excited for that. I didn't really realise that she was going to send me it. So this is fantastic, and these pots are amazing, and I've got a huge, huge orchid here as well. Wow. Oh, I know what this is. So this monster, absolute monster of an orchid, is the Sungya Green, Cattleya Sungya Green, that Nina was offering a division for. So I said yes to that one. She asked around to see who would want it, and I think in general people maybe didn't want to pay shipping, but yeah, look at this. It's gorgeous. Look at those roots. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful roots. This one's just going to have no problems at all. I can tell it's just going to be super vigorous. So these roots may look dead, but they are absolutely not. They're just discoloured. You can see branching root tips coming off the older roots here. So this is Rhyncholaleo Cattleya Sungya Green, which is really beautiful and has big, floofy, greenish white flowers. Won't fit in the pot there. I'm just trying to remove some of the lacquer off this so it doesn't fall off while I'm showing you the beautiful plant. But it's just really lovely, glossy, healthy plant. Massive Cattleya, but I'm into my big Cattleyas, so that is okay with me, and I've got more space now as well. Okay, so Muffin has just become like very interested in what I'm doing. He's like jumped up on the chair and he's trying to get up on the table. Oh, here he comes. Never miss an opportunity to check out new boxes and bubble wrap and plastic. Let's come into the area. It's such a little cutie. Oh, and he's gonna try and chew the fairy lights. No, you don't chew the fairy lights. Get him down before he tries to eat something he shouldn't. So next, another big package. So this one, it's got very broad leaves. Oh, there's two. So one looks like a Brassivola hybrid. So it's very like tubular, very terate. So this one is Brassicattleya Gyrac Kiku. I'll have to look into it, but it looks like it's got some terate type Brassivola in there, just from the look, but it's very big compared to a lot of the Brassivolas that I've seen, certainly mine at least. And the next one, very large flat leaves. Another Epidendrum hybrid maybe? Got some live roots there by the look of it. Oh, and a little swelling eye. So this is RLC Pastoral Innocence, which is a large white flowered Cattleya. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. Probably lose these leaves. They're starting to yellow, but the eye is swelling, so we'll have to see how it goes. So that is the unboxing today, and now we're going to fast forward to a little update. So what you see in front of you may not be the most inspiring sight in the world. There's a lot of yellowing, a lot of wrinkling, a lot of dehydration, but this is all part of the process of rooting a rootless Cattleya division. So essentially they have to eat themselves to push out a new growth because they have to get that energy and those nutrients as building blocks for the new growth from somewhere, and they don't have roots to get it from the pot. So it can be a kind of messy process. You can lose backbulbs, you can lose leaves, as I'm losing some here, but we do have quite a lot of new growths pushing to show for all of this messiness. So I just wanted to go through a few of the ones that are doing well. Unfortunately, we did lose one, but one out of them all is not too bad. The one that we lost was the Laelia purpurata vastriata. It started pushing a new growth out, which was fantastic. It even started a few little root nubs, and then the whole thing just blackened. It didn't rot. I believe it's probably a calcium thing. The new growth blackened, and then the rest of the plant just dried up. So we tried our best, but the rest are doing really well. So first of all, I wanted to show you the Cattleya Siamese Doll Kiwi, which is the one I was a little bit nervous about, to be honest, because it was quite a small division, and when I got it out, all the leaves dropped basically. So it's actually starting a new growth, which is looking really good. So I'm just going to try and zoom in. So what I did was I potted it lower in the pot, so it's got a little bit more humidity around it, so it won't have any dry layer issues at all. So I treated this one a little bit differently because it was rootless and a bit delicate. I'm just going to up the exposure just to show you in a little bit more detail the little nub that's pushing out. And this is looking really promising because it's already got little root nubs. Just try and show you. So the little root nubs are visible already, and this is a really good sign for this stage, because if I had to wait till the growth was bigger, it might really struggle. So next up we've got the Quillostylis ciliaris, which is doing well, but it's not doing much. It's not lost any leaves, it's not looking massively shriveled, it does have a few roots, but it's not doing that much. Next up, we've got the Quillostylis ciliaris crossed with Rhyncholalia digbyana, and you can see a fantastic sized new growth on this. Such a hardy, resilient orchid. Loads of new roots exploding out of it, roots going down into the pot already, so I don't think we're going to struggle at all with this. It also seems to have less of a climbing habit than my plant, which is good, so we'll see how this goes. But the new roots have got down into the pot in some cases. A few are kind of going at random directions, but hopefully they will decide to turn themselves down into the pot. So we're going to be absolutely fine with this because it's made new roots already and they are getting down into the leca. So that one is going to be absolutely fine, and it'll probably start growing quite quickly from now. For all of these and for all rootless orchids, I pot them into their final setups. Try to keep humidity around them relatively high, but I don't do anything special. I don't bag them. I don't do anything that's going to lead to increased chances of rot. I give bright light, but not direct harsh light that'll stress them more, because it's a waiting game to see if they can push out new growth before they use up their resources, and bright light increases the speed at which they lose resources. Having said that, they do need decent light levels to give them enough energy to push a new growth relatively quickly. So there's a happy medium between too much light and enough to be able to give them that energy but not stress them. Next, also doing well with a decent sized new growth coming and lots of new roots, is the Rothara yokosuka story. This one hasn't really been too much of a challenge. It's growing quite quickly and the new growth is achieving quite a reasonable size. New roots are getting down into the pot, as well as this one, which I don't know where it's going, but hopefully it will go down into the pot also. It's got a couple that have gone down under the non-porous, non-wicking pebble top layer, which just helps stop them desiccating. I haven't put these in the conservatory because the temperatures do drop a little lower than I would like for Cattleyas there anyway, even though the humidity is nice and high and would possibly be preferable for them, because high humidity means they lose water at a slower rate, and when they've got no roots, that's very important. You've got to balance that with like intermediate, non-stressful temperatures, so I've been keeping these in the lounge on my lounge plant shelf. Next, looking the worst for wear, but with the most decent, chunky, beautiful new growth, is the RLC Pastoral Innocence. Now, this one did look a little bit like it was going to lose its leaves when it got out of the packaging. You could tell that the leaves were starting to yellow and they had a few dark spots on, which have kind of progressed. It is going to drop this leaf and it's going to drop the one behind it, but that new growth is starting new roots, so we're going to be absolutely fine. The backbulbs themselves don't look like they're in an advanced stage of withdrawing nutrients. They are shriveled obviously, but it's also got some great new roots, so it's going to be absolutely fine. They're going down into the pot, no troubles at all. You can see this one it's hit the edge and it's deciding to go down, but it does have more underneath it as well, which are actually tunneling into the pot. So as soon as they get long enough to kind of switch into water absorbency mode, because when they first start they can't absorb water very well, but when they're a little bit older and more mature, they then start to become more efficient at taking up water. It's going to be absolutely fine. You can kind of just about see the little root tips that are tunneling down into the pot. I'll try and get a close-up shot so that you can see a little bit better. But that one's doing great, and in general they're all doing great. Unfortunately, I did lose the Laelia purpurata, which I'm kind of kicking myself about, but there really wasn't that much more that I could have done. It is just the way it goes sometimes with divisions and backbulb divisions. If they're rootless, it's just a waiting game. My personal preference is to just pop them into their final setups and kind of leave them alone and don't stress them too much. And they want to live, they want to make new growth. If they've got enough resources stored, they will make new growth and they will make new roots if they're potted into the correct setup. It just means that they can get those new roots down that much quicker. The correct setup will differ for all of us, obviously with our different growing preferences, but that's my personal preference of how to deal with rootless backbulbs. We should also touch on the one that was definitely not rootless, which is the Sungya Green. And this one, obviously, it's done fine. It came from Nina, it was in semi-hydro before, it had a wonderful branching root system, it was never going to struggle, but yeah, it's doing great. And it is just starting to swell up an eye from that newest growth as well, so we should soon have a new growth on the way for that one. So that's my kind of overview of how I deal with rootless backbulb divisions and how to easily swap backbulbs from Cattleyas with friends, which I kind of think we should be doing more of because of how easy it is. If you've got a backbulb that you take off during a repot, don't chuck it away. Chuck it in a pot and then swap it with a friend. At the moment, obviously, plant prices in the houseplant market at least have skyrocketed. Orchids have been less affected by this, I think, because they're a little bit more niche. But I think that anything we can do to increase our collections without having to spend lots of money, it's a great thing. And maybe we can join more swap groups, that sort of thing. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching today. If you did enjoy this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates. And I'll see you guys all later. Hope you're all well, and until the next video, bye!